Alright, what's up guys? It's Ash and today we have a very special guest with us. We have the world champion, Semantic, who just won the recent world championships. What's up, man?
Honestly, still sounds surreal to me to call myself a world champion. It's wow.
Oh my goodness. It took you how long? You started playing the game, I think, like 7 years ago?
Yeah, I played since like beta, literally like June 2017. Competitive, like big, I started playing on like Tribe Gaming 2020. But yeah, it's basically like 4 years of actively playing competitive.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, almost
so
5
proud of
actually.
you. So proud of you. Congrats on that amazing achievement. You made so much money too doing so how are you gonna be spending that money? Everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not a big spender. Anyways, like I am not someone who like lives a flashy lifestyle or anything like that. I'm just gonna go towards my family.
Nice.
Nothing special, towards the future, basically.
Awesome. You're actually living up to your team name. Very humble of you. So, starting off this video, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions pertaining to the meta first, because, you know, a lot of our viewers here, they want to know your input, your opinion on the meta, especially with the recent balance changes. And then we're going to talk about your journey getting to this pro stage. We're going to talk about your matchup against Crazy Raccoons in the final, of course. All right, so let's start off with the balance changes. We just recently got balance changes, right? And Mo and Kenji, as you know, got some big nerfs. We both know that they're the best brawlers in the game. So what do you think is gonna happen after the balance changes? Do you think these balance changes are, you know, fair? And if so, like what in your opinion are going to be like the top brawlers to look out for after these changes?
So in Worlds, our bans were like always Mo Kenji, even if it's like Heist. Kenji is just such a menace, and like Mo was literally first picked in Heist, which is like super dumb. So I really like the Kenji nerf about the supercharge rate because it was really annoying. Like if he once starts training a super, like you're literally not killing him. So I think it's a pretty balanced nerf also for star power. I do believe though that he is still awesome at creating pressure just because of his gadget, like getting so much HP back immediately, like having all of his mobility, having lifesteal. I think probably lifesteal might be a bigger problem to Kenji than the even supercharge rate or the star power shield. But we will see in the future, I guess. And for more, I honestly cannot visualize yet how big the attack projectile speed nerf is. Might be big, might be not, but I think he still will be up there in the meta, especially because he has like the triple hit, super someone, go down with you super triple hit interaction, which basically deletes almost anything in game and stuns people and whatever. So I think he's still gonna be up there, but not as broken, hopefully.
Okay, so in your opinion, with Mo and Kenji being nerfed, what brawlers, if you can name like say 5 brawlers you think are gonna be the next best brawlers in the current meta, if you had to predict?
I think Surge and Clancy might still be up there. I gotta see how much is it with Clancy with his damage nerf, but as long as you can reliably get it level 3, I think Clancy will still be up there. Same with Surge. I know hype charge nerf is a lot, but honestly that was just him getting too fast hyper charge. He's still a pretty strong brawler. HB Larry nerf, honestly, like if you have a free Larry matchup, you have a free Larry matchup. I don't really see how that's gonna like affect him negative in the meta. I think it will still be up there as well. Same with Frank damage nerf, honestly. Like I just feel like all the balance changes will just make the brawlers from, instead of being OP, make them balanced. And balance, they're still pretty strong. Like you can still get easily Frank hypers, you can still get easily Frank supers, you can have still beautiful Frank gadget of doing double the damage. Like I think like more or less the meta will be the same, but way more balanced, and OP brawlers which we had are way more beatable.
Oh no, I truly agree with that, especially because these nerfs, they felt very minor. Frank's nerf, only 6% damage nerf, when we know that his biggest advantage is that spam with his attack, right? When he's at low health, just so hard to deal with. Yeah, so I definitely agree with you on that. So you name 4 brawlers though. You name Surge, Clancy, Frank, and Larry.
And then I'll just put a new hypercharge brawler in there, honestly. Like Stu is pretty awesome in the whole meta. Like now he gets the hypercharge, might help him.
That's true.
Rust and Penny, probably more Penny than Rust because Penny hypercharge rate is pretty fast. But Rust as well, if you can use him in a pretty good comp, you give like a Crow hypercharge for free in Heist. You have 2 Crow hypercharges, might be pretty broken, might only be esports wise, so I don't know yet. But I feel like they're these 3 might have some impact in the next meta as well.
What about your thoughts on the new brawler Juju who just came out?
So I did not have the time to practice a lot of it. Of course, we're not scrimming at not any tournaments. I played it a bit on like Zero Trophy Map Maker, and what I definitely can feel is that like you think you're playing Larry, like you shoot, you think you hit twice, but there's not 2 shots coming out, and then you're like kind of disappointed of the damage. But at the same time, if you're like on water, you're slowing people. If you play the RV gadget, you're slowing people. Your star power with your super can slow people, and that is so broke. And just I think her ability of having like the 3 elements can just be super strong. But I need to see how it will affect in the end against the meta brawlers especially. But I think she has some good potential in the meta.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's got pretty much everything right there. She got range with her bush, she got the slowdown, and then my biggest concern is actually her supercharge rate. So you know when Laurie was really broken when he first came out, Larry and Laurie, that spawner did so much damage. So whenever you give an artillery brawler a really powerful spawner, I feel like that's a big concern because that artillery can just constantly chain you supers, right? And artillery does a lot of damage, like 2,000 damage per shot, and also over 7,000 health. With the star power, that's over 9,000 health. I feel like, I don't know, it could be a big problem to deal with.
One thing to that, it's not completely the same though, because I feel like Juju, you should be able to counter with an assassin, perhaps. Like a Mortis, even though you have a spawner, I think you like 1-tap or 2-tap it. So if you like start shining supers on enemies or something, you might maybe kill both of them together. But I'm not sure. I didn't test any interactions yet. We will need to test it out, and I don't know if you're going to be screaming anytime soon. Let's see.
Right. Okay, so in your opinion then, Juju, how would you rate her? 1 to 5 stars?
Probably like a 4 to 4.5.
All right, so still a very, very powerful brawler, but just not like
I think so.
Oppressive, right?
Might be just balanced. Who knows?
Okay, we'll have to see. All right, so now let's move on to your finals matchup against Crazy Raccoons, right? So going into it, like right before the game, remember that we had an interaction like in backstage. You were asking me like who do you think's gonna win? I'm like, I got you guys predicted. I'm thinking you guys are gonna take it, and then you're like, no, we're gonna lose 3-0, right? And it ended up being the other way around. So, you actually won 3-0.
Yeah, I just kept anti-jinxing us the whole event. So like I literally went, for example, to Pioneers, like I shook them hand. You guys are winning tomorrow, you guys are winning 3-0. I did the same with SK, and I did the same with Crazy Raccoon then in the backstage area. Like I told Tensai, you're winning 3-0. Like, and Japanese like being completely surprised, like, huh? Kind of like was super funny. And it kind of worked out the whole event, so I just kept anti-jinxing us and it worked. So I was quite happy.
So you think it was kind of like a confidence booster in a sense, or like a way to like alleviate yourself from like getting, you know, nervous? Right?
Yes, it definitely made us way less nervous, and that's kind of like the approach I took this world as well.
Right.
We just had more fun, we just locked in more on our stuff, and just being less nervous helped us so much, because like when you're nervous you do so dumb mistakes which you normally don't do at all.
I think one of the things that we have to talk about is your approach, you and your team's approach in the finals matchup. When you guys got onto that stage, right, instead of like, you know, it was literally your biggest matchup of your life, right? That was like your biggest kind of like moment in esports, like one of the biggest moments in your life, and you're just chilling, you and your teammates, right, just chilling, opening star drops, right, legendary star drops on stage. I found that to be like, oh my goodness, I found that to be insane.
So what happened basically was the reason why like the whole first set took like so long to start was that the Tampa had some technical issues. So basically the admin came there, so like we were just standing there like, what are we doing? Luki started opening like a random startup from a battle pass, like not even a legendary one, just a normal one. I'm like, oh, hold on, I have my startups from a reverse. That's the camera. Let me show it to it. So I opened one, and then Boss opens this one from a Brawl pass. Luki, like in the camera, it's still there. Like Luki still tries to open normal. He gets like a rare, and I actually still had another one for my Brawl pass as well, which I would have liked to open, but I just forgot in a moment. So like we were just having fun, honestly. Like we were waiting, so we might as well have fun.
Yeah, but here's my thing though. I think what you guys did was like absolutely brilliant on stage, because like most people, right, like everyone, if they were on your shoes, your teammates, they'd be like nervous like crazy, right? Like you're up against 2-time world champions right there on the stage, 2-time, right? Almost 3. But it's insane, like what you guys did right there on stage. You know, you're just having fun. You're just, you know, you and your teammates. I actually thought you guys did that on purpose. Like you're intentionally, you did it like going on stage open because you wanted to, you know, make sure your teammates are having fun and they're not focused on their nerves getting to them, right? Instead, they're just focused on, hey, you know, we're just opening some stars. We're just here to have fun, right? And I feel like that, like, you know, alleviates so much of the pressure.
It was kind of that as well, because it was Luki's like literally second LAN, first LAN in front of like so many people. So like we definitely try to take off some pressure off him, try to like take it a bit slower, play more comfortable and everything. As long as you think rationally, like you're fine. And that's what we knew, and we just gave our best and it worked out.
All right, so let's talk about your journey though to get to this stage, to become a world champion, right? What made you want to aspire to become a pro player?
Oh, like I started 2017 playing casual. I played my casual. I took a small break when like Mortars came out until like Landscape update for the OGs who remember. And then starting from Landscape, I basically kept playing the whole time until now. And I kept playing with some friends. I played with Nice Gaming. Shout out to you, man. And then I found some German friends, which is TKS. Back then, and we started playing some tournaments. We also played like in the qualifiers for the PBL, if you remember, Ash. That was the league.
By Coach Corey.
Exactly. We played that. We almost qualified for like one game and all. So like we were like decent German team, and we started playing like German tournaments and everything. We were doing pretty good there, and we basically established ourselves as the best German team. I don't even know how it happened, but like we just established ourselves as the best German team, and we slowly creeped up ourselves. We almost qualified for the first Worlds. They unfortunately got 3-0 or 3-1 against White East team back then, and the like different qualifiers. You had like the three qualifiers for region, and then the combined qualifier, and then the top 3 went to Worlds in Europe. That's how it worked back then. So we lost that one. Then we started playing like a new monthly qualifiers, which were a thing then, and we lost like the first monthly qualifier to Pinqueso or something. Like we were not far away. We were like top 16 team on Europe at that point. And then of course the current world champions had Tom Spen and Cerulean some problems. They did not qualify first monthly final, and Cerulean was tiring. So they were looking around who they're getting as the teammate, and they were like, for some reason, 2 options. Albert CG, the Spanish goat, and me. And they did some trials and everything, and I don't remember exactly decision why they did it, but they chose to get me. I thought like me speaking English had like a big factor in it. I don't remember correctly though. So like I started playing with Tribe Gaming at that point, Tom and Sven, and Kanas, our coach/manager.
I feel like you deserve it, because you're like one of the hardest working Brawl Stars players in the world, right? So it makes sense why you actually won. You're a champion. You have the experience, of course. You have one of the most experience out of like any player in the game. That, vast amount of experience you've accumulated throughout like over the past 7 years, right? You played competitive pretty much almost every year of your career, right? Like you're just there, just competing all the time. On top of that, you put in so much work. So tell us about your work ethic. Like how many hours do you spend every day like training? You're playing Brawl Stars, you're streaming, of course. I see you streaming ranked mode all the time. Like tell us about your like commitment in Brawl Stars.
So like scrim wise, it depends if you have like a tournament. For Worlds, of course, morning to evening, you only think about Brawl Stars, you draft for Brawl Stars, you scrim for Brawl Stars the whole time. You gotta do, if not, you're not winning Worlds. Simple as that. And that's what every single team did at Worlds. Like you're locked in the last 2 weeks and you do everything you want. For monthly qualifiers or monthly finals, you probably have like 4 to 6 hours of scrims
every day.
A bit of draft every day.
Oh my god.
Like you have 2 scrims per day, which is like 4 hours basically. Sometimes 3 scrims per day, which is then 6 hours, and then like the draft on top of that. But only for a week, of course. And this time we only had like 5 monthly finals, so 5 weeks basically only happening. For monthly qualifiers, it will be then max on 2 scrims per day. If you're tryharding anyway, you do 3 or 4 scrims per day anyway. I think Elevate from North America basically like did that like every single time, 3 scrims per day. It's kind of crazy how many scrims I played this whole year.
It just goes to show though, like the teams that put in the most work, like that's why Elevate is #1 in NA. They just play so many scrims. They just keep training and training, right? They're just
they had
hungry.
like double the amount of scrims than like the second place team. It was so wild.
They were so close too. Like they took Crazy Raccoon to game 5. It came down to the wire 1-1. They were so close.
And then the Drake of Crazy Raccoon.
Oh my goodness, the Drake.
So wild.
Here's an interesting question though for you. You see how like you don't play ladder, right? You don't play for the trophies. I kind of feel like that's like an advantage to you as a pro player, because you're not wasting time, just playing repetitive ladder against bad players. You're not training against bad players. Instead, you invest your valuable time on scrims, invest that against, training against other pro players, teams. So you're always getting like the best experience every single time. And on top of that, when it comes to competition, you're talking about draft. Draft meta is very different from the ladder meta, right? So you're not wasting your time facing Kenji and Mo all the time, because in draft it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be those brawlers banned like 90% of the time, right? So you're kind of like not wasting time on that, and you're getting like the best form of training every time, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, quality over quantity, I 100% agree. To be fair though, there are of course some pros like Juan Carlos, like Luki, who are literally doing both of it. They're doing scrims, which is really high quality, and they're playing that, which is really high quality. So like, of course, it still helps a lot. Quality is super important, but it's just way different. It's a different game, like you said. And when I try to play bosses, I try to learn as much as I can, even in scrims.
Okay, so let me ask you about something else though. So like you were talking about how like, when you're facing against pioneers, right? You have a great coach, your team, right? You're analyzing the other team, you study the other team, right? And that comes as a big advantage, because you have to put a lot of time, not just training, but also studying your opponent, correct? So here's something that I was kind of surprised about. When you guys fought against SK in that final matchup, you guys outdrafted with the berry pick, right? I was on stage. I was sitting there watching you guys draft, and I was like, yo, bro, they are aiming for a healer for their last pick, right? And the thing is, SK didn't draft any anti-healer. They went Surge as their last pick, and we know Surge is not good into a healer composition, right? So you guys went with the very last pick, and then I was surprised because we know Humble. You guys, everybody knows Humble. You guys are the berry players, right? So how is it that they slipped? How did that slip their mind?
I don't really understand why like SK didn't have like enough prep against us. But it's not only that set, like Save for example, we kept running Cold Kenshi 2-3 5 times in a row in a strip. So they knew that comp existed. They didn't ban it and they did not anti-peek against it because Cold Kenji is literally what Crazy Raccoon ran against us in the BSN pre-invitational match arena, right? And they beat us in 24 seconds twice. And we had a Clancy and we had no answer to it. We had the Clancy chuck or something. We had no answer to it. He just ran us down. So like they played it against us. It won against us. We kept running it. We kept winning with it. So like I don't really understand what SK's prep was towards that. They didn't see us. And then Barry, I think they were just way too confused with our mech pick that they did not see us going a Barry in that map because you don't go Barry in that map. Barry, you usually go on a map where you have like a little bit of ult or we have like a Frank who can tank a lot for you.
The other thing is like you guys didn't even have to go Barry. You had other options. You had a Byron as well. You could have picked Byron, which is also excellent brawler in that map.
We could have gone Amber mid, mech lane, and then like another Kenji counter maybe. Like we definitely have some other choices, but we really decided on Barry.
So I get people asking me this all the time, right? And I'm not even a pro player, right? But we have you. Everybody keeps asking me, hey Ash, I want to become a pro. How can I get better at the game? How can I get to that level? How can I be the next Semantic? How would you answer that?
I mean, it depends on what stage you are currently in the game, because
let's say a casual average player, maybe like 50,000 trophies, trying to
all brawlers, all max.
Yeah,
maybe not.
Maybe not all.
Okay, let me answer. So like the different stages are for sure like getting to know each brawler, maxing out each brawler, understanding each brawler, and that you slowly grind them up. And back then, at least, understanding a brawler basically meant pushing him to 500 trophies, which is nothing now. But back then there was like an achievement. Now maybe it's like pushing them to 1,400, maybe if you like really good, if you're like an average player, or just playing them a lot to understand them. You gotta understand the basics of a brawler well. The next step for you is probably once you understand every brawler, understanding other 4 basics, which is movement, aim, positioning, and team synergy. I would say movement super important, like dodging around. Same with aiming. Like if you're a sniper, you gotta hit your shots. If not, how do you expect yourself to win? And a huge tip, which I will give you for movement and aim, is that you gotta understand that you're facing another human being. You're not facing a computer. You're not facing a character that is moving randomly. You're facing a human being, and that human being will think, if you're shooting right, I will dodge to the left. If you keep shooting right, I keep dodging to the left. So if you shoot right and left, he will dodge it as well. And you keep going into like prediction inside each other's heads. And as long as you like nail that prediction, you will be better at aiming and you will be better at dodging.
It's more like you have to start to learn and read the game as if it's like kind of like a chess match. If you want to get to that level, it's all about mind games. It's all about reading your enemy, right? That's something you don't see these days anymore, especially because you know how ranked mode changed. They removed power leagues, so you don't get like the most top form of competition anymore. But back then, remember Semantic? Like back then when we had actual competition at really high trophies or even like high power league, you actually had to employ some of these strategies. Like you have to know what's your matchup. Like if you're a Mortis, you don't want to go for like a Shelly, right? You have to know your matchup. My objective, I should go for the thrower, right? So these are things that kind of I feel like are missing these days with the new rank system. So how can players get to that level where like understanding what's the best matchup for me, or like knowing, hey, I made it far enough that now I can now try to compete in like monthly qualifiers and like get to that stage.
One big part of that is for sure just analyzing pros. You learn from the best, watch from multi finals, watch from world finals, watch everything there is from pros, or just watch seasonal players. Most of the pros actually have YouTube channels or Twitch streaming or whatever. You can learn like anywhere. As long as you want to learn, you will learn.
Especially you, like everyone who wants to aspire to be a pro player, they should be watching your content. They should be watching your streams because you like provide so much insight, so much strategy. It's like invaluable information for like anyone who wants to get like really good at the game, you need to like, you're not gonna find that anywhere else. You're not gonna find it in the game. You're not gonna find it in ladder. You're not gonna find it in ranked mode. You're only gonna be finding it by pro players. For our final minutes, right? Let's talk more about you and your future. Are you gonna like, you know, compete next year as well? Are you gonna focus more on creating content? Or what about right now? Because this is like, you know, the end of the season, so you have a lot of free time. What are your goals right now?
So I'm definitely gonna compete next year.
Yeah.
I know I just became a world champion, but there's one guy out there. His name is Sensei. He's a double world champion, and I'm trying to overtake him. I'm trying to overtake his throne. It will take some time. It will take a lot of effort, but that is currently my goal for sure.
Yeah.
And then in the off season, there's no competition going on. Anything I can tell you that as well. Luki, Boss, me, and Kanan and Vit are gonna stay together for next year, so we will not have any roster mania things happening on our side probably. I hope so. At least that's what I heard so far. I don't know if I will start doing YouTube, but I will definitely keep to streaming on Twitch and hopefully stream a bit more there. Even though I don't have a lot of content right now because the rank is just that bad. But I will try to maybe figure something out, do some challenges, or just play with people. We will see. So
awesome.
yeah, that is basically from my side for now.
Awesome. And what about, let's say, what's one update wish list? Like your update wish list, but what's the one thing that you really want from Brawl Stars?
I mean, they said it kind of already in their roadmap that they want to implement esports into the game, which I assume means they're going to put esports into ranked, and if you get masters or like top 1000, you're qualified for multi qualifiers, which I hope they do, which also would mean basically, which is my hope as an update, a good rank system, and basically just having Power League back, honestly. Like, Power League was perfection, and you only need to add the rewards, and it would have been perfect, and they changed it, and it's screwed up, and I don't like it, and I just wish Power League back, because it was a beautiful game.
I agree so much too. Like, ever since they removed Power League, my playtime in Brawl Stars has been like so low. I just haven't been playing as much because like I can't get that. Like, I'm a competitive player, even though like I'm not a pro player. I'm not like I'm a content creator, of course, but I'm very competitive. You know me. I like to compete, right? I love playing against like.
I mean, you played on the biggest stage, no? On Red Bull.
I did, yes. As a pro, like so long ago, but you know that's just in my nature, right? As a competitive player, so like I need that. I need the Power League back. I need the actual competition. I love playing against pros. I love playing with pros. I miss that.
Like back then, like Paris World Finals, we were like all sitting during rehearsal on the tribune, on like where people sit, and every single pro went into Power League game. And every single pro lobby was like 5 pro players in a lobby. It was so goddamn good, and I just wish these times back.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Semantic. World champion now. How does that feel knowing, hey, you now have the world champion title?
You calling me that just sounds so weird on my head, honestly, because
feels surreal.
World champion.
Like, imagine a week ago, someone like, you're not a world, like right now, you're a world champion, right?
It's literally crazy.
Awesome, man. You definitely deserve it though. Like I said, you're one of the hardest working Brawl Stars player. So like, it just goes to show hard work pays off, right? But keep up the grind. Expecting you guys to again compete next year and make it back to the stage. So I'll be there to cheer you on, of course. Hopefully I'll be there next year as well. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for this interview. Any final words? Any last words? Any shout outs?
Thank you for Ash for hiring me here, for inviting me to this interview, and yeah, thank you to every single fan out there. I hope you enjoyed this interview.
Awesome. And thank you everyone for watching. Bye.